Hi, I'm BL Ochman here for Richly Gifted blog with polymath John Dodge. And Jonathan Dodge is a professional communicator, marketing communicator, and inventor of cloud-based software for industry and also for people. And hi, John. So tell us a little bit about the types of software that you've created, please.
Well, hi, BL. Thanks for having me. I've been a part of a lot of different projects in my career. I've been a serial entrepreneur and always kind of tinkering with new technology. So a lot of the different projects I've been a part of have been socially driven. When I refer to social, I mean social media, and then also just trying to solve simple problems using technology that currently exists. So in a lot of cases, I take existing technology, existing process, and I kind of break it up in a way that people have not done it before. So I can give
So
you a couple
these
of
have,
examples.
yes, please do. Well, these have grown out of your day job is marketing communications, right?
Correct. Yep. I spent my entire career in digital marketing and digital media, and a lot of times while I practice my career for my employer, I come up with different ideas that may suit that business or may suit a different type of business or industry. An example would be, well, my first success was called Simple Dine, and Simple Dine essentially was one of the first online ordering platforms for food. So the ability to go online and place your order without picking up the telephone, which today seems like a pretty common concept because everybody has online food ordering. But when I started this back in 2002, most businesses weren't really accepting the fact that people were going to be doing this at some point. Now today, if you go to any restaurant, of course, you expect to be able to order your food online.
Did that precede Peapod? Remember Peapod, the grocery
That
stores?
I believe Peapod was around beforehand. The difference was Peapod was really focused in the grocery industry, so delivering your groceries to your door, which actually I was a big fan of when I lived in Chicago. But this was really geared towards probably an audience that was going to be a little bit more open to innovation, and that audience was college students. So these are students at the time that were now regularly bringing computers to school and regularly using online to meet their needs, whether it was researching for a report or if it was ordering food online.
So you did your first venture while you were in college.
Correct. I believe a junior in college when we came up with the concept, and then we were able to do our first beta test at Michigan State University my senior year.
And you sold that company.
No, didn't sell the company. We licensed the software to Aramark. What happened after Michigan State is we met with a lot of venture firms and ended up getting some venture capital, some angel capital in Grand Rapids, Michigan, allowing us to then take the business to 78 other markets.
And then you were at Meyer, and you were director of digital at Meyer. Is that
I started when I started at Meyer. Actually, they didn't have a digital department,
correct?
which seems a little bit odd for what was it, 2006, 2007. So I actually started in the traditional media department with the understanding that they knew that they needed to get into the space, so they needed some people that had an eye on how they could transition their advertising spending from the traditional space to the digital space. So, right, if you know the chain, Meijer is a billion-dollar regional supermarket chain. They're spending $1 million at least on a weekly basis on print circular ads that go in your Sunday newspaper. Knowing that print circulation is going down and people are starting to gravitate towards the internet, we knew that we had to make an adjustment. So my next venture was then helping them transition their spending into that space.
So what did you come up with for them?
Well, it was really more of a let's test and learn, A/B testing. One of the things that we had to look at was what was the print circulation, where was it going to in certain markets, and ultimately where were our customers coming from. If you're familiar with the retail model, anytime someone scans a credit card, we have your information, so we end up knowing where you live. Scary but true. So then being able to overlap that information gave us a good understanding of where we needed to cut spending, when it came to the print circulation, and ultimately giving us a budget to work with so we could start working on how could we naturally get people to use the internet to understand what the sales were and where our opportunities reside.
So you're doing all of that, and you came up with another idea for cloud-based software?
Okay, yes. The next concept that came along was called wave signage. And what wave signage was, if you're familiar with digital signage, which most people are, you see them in your billboards when you're driving down the highway, you see them if you enter a Target store, a Meijer, or a Walmart. If you go to the TV section, you're seeing all this advertising that takes place on these screens. It's a big revenue driver for a lot of retailers because it's free real estate that they sell for big dollars. The idea now was, instead of spending all of this money to create a spot and then place it on there for a month and have to reproduce spots on a regular basis, let's create a software that allows us to work on template-based, cloud-based, and allow the people within the headquarters to change out item and pricing in real time. So kind of a cloud-based dashboard that allows them to pull from online sources, whether it's their e-commerce webpage or their online circular, and say, this is the product that we want to have this week. This is the price we want to have, and I want it to be regionally based pricing, and automatically go to all the screens throughout the store. So now you don't have to produce a spot, and if for some reason you need to change the item or price, you can do that in real time.
So you're a master of finding a need and filling it, and you're not the guy who says, we ought to do this, you're the guy who says, here's how we ought to do this.
That's, being in the corporate world and being in the startup world, there's a couple differentiators. One of them is, in the startup world, if you have an idea and you know that the market needs it, you go ahead and do it. In the corporate world, unfortunately, you have to work through several chains of command in order to make something happen. So a lot of times when I come up with an idea, I will try to position it for the business I'm working in, if it makes sense to do so. If not, I try to bypass that system.
And then you come back to them and you say, look what we have, are you interested?
Well, in this particular case, one of the retailers I've worked with is now licensing that software.
It's so interesting. So what is your background? You studied communications or computers?
I was really more of a guy that was going for the business college. I was interested in business my entire life. Having a father that was in marketing, I knew that I wanted to kind of follow in his direction a little bit because I was always intrigued by the problems and opportunities he came across. So when I attended school, I was somewhat focused on getting into the business college. Unfortunately, I had a few sidetracked affairs which caused me to not make it grade point average wise. So then I went into the communications college and studied advertising.
And then now you have a new project that's called Pickle. What's Pickle do?
Okay, so Pickle is interesting because people are using social media to fulfill a lot of different needs. And one of the needs I see out there are the ability to ask quick questions and get quick answers. So we created Pickle with the idea of, if you're in a situation, let's say you're at a restaurant and you're sitting down with your friend and you've been able to narrow it down to two items. Let's say it's the burrito and the tacos, and you're not sure which one you want to go with. Pickle's that application that allows you to say this or that. Should I have the burrito or should I have the tacos? Sending this out to all of your social communities in real time, so Facebook, Twitter, your pickle community, and letting people vote to help you decide in real time. So you get those answers in real time, aggregated across all social networks, so that you can kind of get a sense for where your friends think you should go. Now that's kind of the B2C model. Now when we got venture capital for Pickle, we wanted to hedge our bets as much as possible. As you know, the social space is crowded with lots and lots of different applications and lots of different tools. So to kind of emerge as a head of those different applications, those different tools, we knew that we had to be a little bit different. So what we did is we focused more on utility versus social network, allowing us to then focus our application towards businesses, giving them an opportunity to do a gut check. So let's say you are a retailer and you're thinking about offering coupon A or coupon B. Well, a couple things. One, this gives you an opportunity to see which types of coupons entice different people. And then two, you can offer the winning coupon in real time in real time essentially. So we're focused on the utility on the retail side, but if we could get a social user base, we would consider that to be a win-win.
So you're going to ask weightier questions than should I have the taco or the burrito in most cases, aren't you?
Well, that's the trivial approach of how the conversation came to be. Now, for if let's say you're a designer and you want to reward your social audience for following you on Facebook or for following you on Twitter, you could give them an inside look as to what the new designs may be. So let's say you release, it's going to be this design or this design, but we're going to let our audience select what we're actually going to put into production. It'd be an interesting way for you to release new items. So not only are you giving your audience a sneak peek at what you could be releasing, but they're a part of the decision-making process.
That's
so there's a lot of different utilities to this.
That's so interesting. So how do you fill your day? I mean, how do you manage to do all the things that you do? You also have a young family.
I think being a father of twin girls that are 3 years old that don't allow me to sleep to begin with has kind of programmed and conditioned me to not need as much sleep to operate. The other advantage I have, you can look at an advantage or disadvantage, is I work 2 hours away from my hometown on a weekly basis, so I spend a lot of time traveling to work, which gives me a few nights a week away from the family. Unfortunately, I'm away from the family, but it also gives me an opportunity to work on some of these different ventures.
You know, John, I've been interviewing a lot of polymaths, and every single one of them has said to me at some point in the interview, I don't sleep much.
That's a trend. It's definitely
it's a trend. Yep. We have a trend, yes.
Yeah.
So what inspires you? You know, you have a job, you have all these things going on. What inspires you to keep doing these things?
I think it's the satisfaction of coming up with something new and in believing there's an opportunity and actually seeing it in practice. So being able to think through these ideas and have these conversations. I have a lot of friends that I like to have these conversations with. And ultimately, when I have these conversations, new ideas emerge. And every once in a while, excuse me, every once in a while we'll pursue these things. I like to go into these things with a partner, quite honestly, because a partner keeps you in check and kind of helps steer you when you might have the crazy idea. Crazy ideas are good, but ultimately you're looking for something that really does solve a specific need.
Well, it seems like you're very adept at doing that, and that is certainly, you know, not the average bear's experience.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, I thank you so much for your time, and I will share this information with our readers.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.